This might be the world's easiest pizza sauce that's also better than any pizza sauce you can buy pre-made. The key is using a high-quality canned tomato product as your base. I'm using Bianco di Napoli whole-peeled tomatoes. These are grown and processed organically in California by people who know how far a quality tomato product can take you when it comes to making a good pizza. This recipe truly is simple. It's only 7 ingredients. First, you're going to start with 28 ounces of whole peeled or crushed tomatoes. I'll get to that in a second. Next, you're going to need 3/4 a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and then for the spices, you'll need 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I'm using the whole peeled tomatoes for added texture to the sauce, but if you want to skip using a food processor or a blender, you can use the crushed tomatoes instead and just mix all the ingredients in a bowl. Don't expect any high quality from your local supermarket brand of canned tomatoes. Consider yourself warned, it's just not going to be good. Some other good brands for canned tomato products are Cento, Muir Glen, or Rao's. There are others as well, but these are some of the more recommended. There's a great article that ranks many of the canned tomato products from Nepa Pizza Review. The link is in the description. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our canned whole peeled tomatoes, and we're just going to dump all of the contents into our food processor or our blender. We're not going to puree the tomatoes just yet. We're just going to put them in the food processor and blend them a little bit on pulse 1 or 2 times for just about a second each so that the tomatoes break up a little bit more, so that when we add in our spices, sugar, olive oil, and salt, everything mixes just a little bit better. Now, just before we add all of our ingredients, we want to just taste the sauce as is, just to see what the flavor is, what the acidity is, what the balance between sweet and bitter is, so that when we add everything, we know how much of what we should put in. I measured out 3/4 a teaspoon of salt, but you'll see I actually don't add all of it. I add just a little bit less because I didn't think that it needed it. Most canned tomato products come with salt already in it, and it's not that they don't need any salt, but it's not necessary to add as much salt as you might think. There's plenty of salt in the dough and the cheese, so try not to go too heavy on the salt, as the sauce should be a little more on the sweet side. And once we've added all our ingredients, we're just going to blend on low for about 10 seconds, maybe even less, because really we want some of the texture of those whole tomatoes that we used to remain. I like my sauce to be smooth, but I still want there to be a little bit of texture, which adds to the flavor in the final product of your pizza. And that's pretty much it. That's how you make a wonderful pizza sauce at home. Now, just as a final step, which isn't necessary, I'm just going to pour it into this bowl and give it a little stir with a spoon for like 10-15 seconds. This just helps incorporate anything that didn't mix in the different layers of the blender or food processor. And once we're done mixing, now we're actually done. You can use it immediately or cover with plastic wrap and keep it in your fridge for about a week. But this is how I make pizza sauce that I think is absolutely delicious right from home with ingredients that I already have or are readily available to me.